Welcome to First Chapter Fridays. My name is Miss Pam. I normally work at the North Valleys branch. And today I'd like to read you the first chapter of one of my favorite books, The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. It is illustrated by Jules Pfeiffer, and the publisher is Random House. You can get this book online on Overdrive or Libby. So, let's tell you a little bit about the book. A journey to the lands beyond. For Milo, everything was a bore. When a toll booth mysteriously appears in his room, he drives through only because he's got nothing better to do. But on the other side, things seem different. Milo visits the island of conclusions. You get there by jumping. Learns about time from a ticking watchdog named Hawk, and even embarks on a quest to rescue Rhyme and Reason. Somewhere along the way, Milo realizes something astonishing. Life is far from dull. In fact, it's exciting beyond his wildest dreams. All right, let's start with Chapter 1. Chapter 1, Milo. There was once a boy named Milo who didn't know what to do with himself. Not just sometimes, but always. When he was in school, he longed to be out. When he was out, he longed to be in. On the way there, he thought about coming home. Coming home, he thought about going. Wherever he was, he wished he were somewhere else. When he got there, he wondered why he bothered. Nothing really interested him, least of all, the things that should have. It seems to me that almost everything is a waste of time, he remarked one day, as he walked dejectedly home from school. I can't see the point in learning to solve useless problems. Or subtracting turnips from turnips. Or knowing where Ethiopia is. Or how to spell February. And since no one bothered to explain otherwise, he regarded the process of seeking knowledge as the greatest waste of all time. As he and his unhappy thoughts hurried along, for a while, he was never anxious to be where he was going. He liked to get there as quickly as possible. It seemed a great wonder that the world, which was so large, could sometimes feel so small and empty. And worst of all, he continued sadly, there's nothing for me to do and nowhere I care to go, and I hardly anything worth seeing. He punctuated his last thought with a deep sigh, so deep that a house sparrow singing nearby stopped and brushed home to be with his family. Here he is walking home. Without stopping to look up, Milo dashed past the buildings and the busy shops that lined the street, and in a few minutes he reached home. He dashed through the lobby, hopped onto the elevator, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and off again. Opened the apartment door, rushed to his room, and flopped dejectedly into a chair and grumbled softly, ugh. Another long afternoon. He looked glumly at all the things he owned. The books that were too much trouble to read. The tools he'd never learned to use. The small electric automobile he hadn't driven in months. Or was it years? And the hundreds of other games and toys and bats and balls and bits and pieces scattered around him. And then, to one side of the room, just next to the phonograph, he noticed something that he had certainly never seen before. Who could possibly have left that enormous package? And such a strange one. For a while, it was not quite square. It was definitely not round. And for its size, it was larger than almost any other big package for smaller dimensions than he'd ever seen. Attached to one side of the bright blue envelope, which said simply, "For Milo, who has plenty of time." Of course, if you've never gotten a surprise package, you can imagine how puzzled and excited Milo was. And if you've never gotten one, pay close attention because you might someday. "I don't think it's my birthday," Milo puzzled. "And Christmas must be months away. I haven't been outstandingly good, or even good at all." He had to admit that, even to himself. "Mostly, I won't like anything, I most probably won't like it anyway. But since I don't know where it came from, and I can't possibly send it back," he thought about it for quite a while, and then he opened the envelope. But just to be polite. "One genuine turnpike toll booth," it stated. And then it went on. "Easily assembled, at home, and for use by those who have never traveled in lands beyond." Beyond what? Thought Milo, as he continued to read. "This package contains the following items. 1 genuine turnpike toll booth, to be erected according to directions. 3 precautionary signs, to be used in a precautionary fashion. Assorted coins, for use in paying tolls. 1 map, up to date and carefully drawn by master cartographers, depicting the natural and man-made features. 1 book of rules and traffic regulations, which may not be bent or broken." In as smaller letters at the bottom, it concluded, "Results are not guaranteed, but if not perfectly satisfied, your wasted time will be refunded." Following the instructions, which told him, "Cut here, lift there, fold back, all around," he soon had... Oh, here, I'll show you the picture really quick. There's this package. The toll booth, unpacked and set up on its stand. He lifted the windows in place, attached the roof, which extended out on both sides, and fastened on the coin box. It was very much like toll booths he'd seen many times on family tricks, except, of course, it was much smaller, and it was purple. What a strange present, he thought to himself. The least they could have done was to send a highway with it, for it's terribly impractical without one. But since at the time there was nothing else he wanted to play with, he set up the 3 signs. "Slow down, approaching toll booth. Please have your fare ready. Have your destination in mind," and slowly unfolded the map. As the announcement stated, it was a beautiful map in many colors, showing principal roads, rivers and seas, towns, cities, mountains and valleys, intersections, detours, and sites of outstanding interest, both beautiful and historic. The only trouble was that Milo had never heard of any of the places it indicated, and even the names sounded most peculiar. "I don't think there really is such a country," he concluded, after studying it carefully. "Well, it doesn't matter anyway," and he closed his eyes and he poked his finger at the map. "Dictionopolis," he read aloud slowly, and when he saw what his finger had chosen, "Oh, well, I might as well go and see what's there anyway." He walked across the room. He dusted off his car carefully. Then, taking the map and rule book with him, he hopped in the car for lack of anything better to do and drove slowly up to the toll booth. As he deposited his coin and rolled past the he remarked wistfully, I hope this is an interesting game. Otherwise, the afternoon will be so terribly dull. Here's Milo getting in the car. And that is the end of chapter 1. So, beginning of the book, there's a map, which I'll show you really quick because you got to hear about it. There you go. There's the map. The Sea of Knowledge, Mountains of Ignorance, the Valleys of Sound, Dictionopolis. Remember to sign up for the Washoe County Library's Summer Reading Adventure. You can earn points and badges by participating and reading. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Friday for a new book. Have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.